My name is Fred Mitchell and I head up the security division at Drive Control, a importer and distributor of information technology products. And one of the products that we do is Symantec's Norton, which is the retail range. And I'd like to touch on 3 products today. I've got samples of 2 here. The first one that I'd like to touch on very briefly is the cell phone product, which places an antivirus product on your cell phone. With internet banking in South Africa mushrooming with the 40 to 50 million residents that we have, cell phone banking has become even larger. A lot of people are using their cell phones to do their banking because it's cheap, it's convenient, they don't have to go to the bank to stand queues. Their salaries are being paid into their bank accounts and they can pay their accounts and things from their cell phones. It's very easy for them to do. And they need to be protected because there are viruses. In fact, at the moment, I think there's in excess of 100 viruses that are purely based for cell phone products. And once you lose the information on your cell phone, it's gone. The numbers, all those hot guys or girls numbers that you've got, all gone. Your mum's number, it's gone.
Only viruses on the cell phones, or is there more security?
They're mainly viruses, but it also looks at who comes onto your machine and information that gets sent out.
Right.
If your cell phone, and which most of them now can connect to the internet, it's very easy for, if there's a bug that sits on your phone, to connect to the internet while you're not aware of it. The next thing you get, 1, a huge cell phone bill, and 2, information can be sent out from your phone.
So the problems that you would have on your cell phone would be much the same as the problems that you'd have on your PC?
Yeah, very much. Hacking cell phones has not happened that much yet, but it will as time goes by, because people keep information on their cell phones, and hacking lately is about getting information. It's always a good idea to get a cell phone product as you're purchasing your cell phone, load it on and make sure that you're protected. Especially if you're going to do banking. It's always a safe thing to do. The next product I'd like to touch on is something called Norton's Internet Security. This is a product aimed at home users. It's for a single machine, and it's much more than just your antivirus. Cost-wise, it's probably 30 to 40% more expensive, but on it, you get the Norton antivirus, you get a personal firewall, you get your anti-spyware. Spyware is basically a program that sits on your machine and sends out information. It can just sit and just take files and start sending them out. So it's got an anti-spyware, it's got an anti-phishing device on. If you get an email which says this is from your bank, there's a green stripe that actually runs across the top of your screen. If the site where you're on is safe, it will say safe site. The minute that there's a problem, if it's unsure, it'll be orange. If it definitely says get off the site, it'll be red. So, and it's not a subtle thing, it's very, very clear to see. So you'll always know when you're protected. If you have a small home office with 3 machines, there's a product called Norton's 360, which has got, included in the package, there is your antivirus, your personal firewalls, your anti-phishing, anti-spam is also as part of this product, as well as, which is very important, there's a backup section that tells you when to back your machine up, because we all forget, and I've lost information, I've lost photos because I didn't back up and then my machine crashed. So it tells you when to back up and ensures that you've got a backup done.
And this backup is to your PC or also the internet?
It's to the PC.
Right.
There is an online backup option.
Right.
I prefer not to. I prefer to have my backup close at hand where I know where it is. So you can either put in 2 hard drives or you can segment your hard drive. But it's better normally just to have a different hard drive. Like buy an external hard drive, they're not very expensive nowadays, and use that as your backup directory.
What about another PC?
You can definitely do that as well.
So if you've got a server sitting somewhere?
If you've got a server, then it'll back up to that. Because it's basically for small machines. Right. And then what it has as well is a system cleanup. So it looks at your system and says, it'll tell you need to now delete your old internet files, because every time you go onto the web there's a cookie that gets left behind. And eventually that takes up a huge amount of space, and it slows your performance of your machine down. So it'll tell you to delete those, or it'll do automatically. Like you must go and click, and then it will defrag your system for you. Right. So it'll keep your system up and running, it'll do the backups for you, and it'll keep you protected. And you buy 1 box that goes onto 3 machines, and it's a complete comprehensive package for small business and for individual home users. Before the 2006 version, the Symantec Norton has slowed down machines. I mean, it's a known fact. Symantec was very aware of it. Since then, in the 2007, 2008 and 2009 versions that they've released, their main focus has been to cut that down and to ensure that that the machine does not do this anymore. In fact, a very large part of our marketing drive to resellers was handing out not for resale copies to them so they can actually install it and play with it. Because we came up against this wall of, we don't want it, it's too system and resource intensive, it takes up too much space. That perception, thank heavens, is busy changing.
Right.
On the Norton 360, it does, when it runs a full system scan, obviously it goes into all your files, so it will take up some of your resources, and it does it really well. So it does a very in-depth scan. So what I normally do is I schedule my scans for when I'm not busy, when I'm not on my PC. They will, at some point, it will be even better than it is at the moment. Like, as your article states, it takes 25% of your system resources, and if you think about it, it's scanning your whole system. It's running through every file that you've got, checking for discrepancies, checking for viruses, checking for worms, anything that's not right, it's checking for. And you have to give it space to work. If it was just a pure virus checker, it would be different.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's much more than that. And the depth that goes to, therefore, it takes up the resources. On the single user boxes, it's not a problem.
When it's doing a full-on scan, when it's sitting in the background doing its job, it's not going to slow down your
Nothing.
PC.
If it sits in the background, if it's just doing its job, stopping viruses, scanning your mails, things like that, you won't even notice the difference. If someone sends you a very hefty email and has to scan that, you might notice that it takes a second to open as opposed to 0.01 of a second. But again, it's for your own protection. Right. It's like walking into the airport and expecting the scary search to be over like this. But if they're doing it properly, then it won't. It'll take a little bit longer, but I'd rather let them do that than sit on the plane and the next thing a bomb goes off or something happens. So, yeah.